Hello, good evening, and welcome back once again to In the Know, brought to you by the Racing Post and Coral. It's a brand new year, but it's the same old show, and we wouldn't want it any other way. We've got some big races to preview on Saturday afternoon, and my name is Ross Brierley. I will be guiding you through 8 races. There are 9 on TV, but quite frankly, there's only so much time in an evening, and we'll be hopefully picking out some winners for you flat track bullies. We've got Warwick and Kempton, of course, on the agenda on Saturday afternoon. 8 races, 4 from each. We've got a cash injection for one of the biggest handicap hurdles of the season, of course, the Lanzarote handicap hurdle coming up at Kempton tomorrow afternoon, and very much like its island-based namesake, it is a warm renewal. Over at Warwick, we've got the Classic Chase as well, and a couple of graded action for novices over fences and over hurdles. Of course, the Hampton and the Leamington to look at too. We've got some handicap chases, we've got some handicap hurdles. We've pretty much got a little bit of something for everyone, but that is the joy of this show, because the TV races are usually pretty tricky to decipher, and we are here to take you by the hand and hopefully lead you in the direction of some winners. This is live and interactive as well. It is on YouTube as we speak, and also Facebook, so like and subscribe to the page and the stream if you haven't already, and get your selections in on that chat box. It can be a very tasty live chat indeed, so let us know what you like as we gear up for probably one of the first big Saturdays. Still, it is the second big Saturday really of the year, isn't it? And hopefully, like I said, we can emerge in profit as we start to get a little bit of a clearer picture on the spring festivals. But like I said, it is a brand new year, the same old show, and luckily we've got the same old panel as well. What better way to bring in 2022 than by turning to my left and finding the one and only Mr. Paul Kealy? I can think of no better way. I've missed you, mate. I've missed you.
Yeah, it's been a long time, isn't it? Yeah, if you do this more often, I enjoy these.
3 weeks.
Yeah, it's been a long while, isn't it? It's a strange old day. 9 races on telly, two races account for 35 runners, and the other 7 account for 42. Yeah. But some of the fields, in fact, some of the small fields, I think, are almost trappier than the big ones. I fancy quite a few. Always.
That's the thing a lot with the small field graded races at the moment. They are very low on quantity of runners, but the ones who do turn up are turning up because they've got a genuine chance.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Fancy anything? Fancy anything strong?
Yeah, fancy plenty actually.
Yeah. It's not like you.
I always do, don't I? I can't help it. Longer I get to study, the more I fancy horses. So yeah.
Yeah. It would be a shame if we came back for 2022 and I said, "Do you fancy anything?" and you went, "No, not a bit actually."
It's all rubbish. Can't be bothered. Not even going to watch.
Yeah. Paul Kealy then in the studio, ready and raring to go, and despite it was everyone else's New Year's resolution to try and get Tom Segal to leave his house, but it hasn't been his. We're back, Tom, and you're still in the same place, but it's an absolute joy to see your head and shoulders as ever.
Thank you very much, Ross. Yeah, I don't fancy anything, and I'm not going to watch. No, I won't be watching it. I'm really looking forward to it. Yeah, I like these shows, and I think there's plenty of good races tomorrow. Those 2 big handicaps are just my type of race, and key horses. So hopefully we'll be able to steer people in the right direction.
Yeah, nice to be talking about a couple of different tracks as well, isn't it? Which is, Warwick getting a big day in the sun. Yeah,
I like Warwick. Very, very important jumping, but to get in a rhythm round there. Got all those fences down the back. They come thick and fast. I like it. I think it's a really good test, and I like it for Cheltenham actually. I like it as a track that goes on to be relevant to Cheltenham, because I think jumping comes really thick and fast, and it's all about jumping at speed, and so can't predict they're going to jump at speed tomorrow in the 3 mile 5F chase, but I do think it's a good track when you're studying Cheltenham to have a look at the Warwick form.
Yeah, and of course you are on the anti-post price-wise bandwagon already, so you're already thinking 2 months ahead, aren't you?
Yeah, well, it starts in January, doesn't stop until the start. So, yeah, I like it. It gives me a lot of, I like thinking about Cheltenham. I like thinking about Cheltenham from the start of the season. So, I have no qualms with doing it. Can't say that I particularly thought I could get Honeysuckle or Siskin beat this week, but that's the name of the game, and we'll roll on and see what happens next week.
Yeah, absolutely. So Paul and Tom in the saddle then to hopefully pick out some winners. And of course the Coral Lanzarote Hurdle it is on Saturday afternoon, and for the best part of God knows how long, it's been worth about 25 grand to the winner. But a big cash injection tomorrow afternoon. Hopefully some big price boosts as well from Simon Clare.
Yeah, no, it's great. Great to be sponsoring the card for the first time, and it was really, there's been a lot of focus on this period of the year for jump racing, that January, February period, which I think everyone would accept is probably the weakest part, mainly in terms of the quality horses going straight to Cheltenham, not maybe supporting some of the big graded races. But I think these handicaps are the key because they do exist, they do attract big fields, but the prize money is important, and so we actually approached Kempton and the Jockey Club when the sponsorship was available. Said, well, look, we'd like to sponsor, but why don't we turn that Lanzarote into a bigger, a more valuable entity? And it's the first year; it's never been as valuable as 100 grand before. I even went back and checked like the 90s, where my memory in rose-tinted glasses was that it was a great betting race. But actually, even in inflationary terms, it was worth about 60 grand. So, so I think it's great that it's up to 100 grand. I had loads of really good feedback from trainers actually saying they didn't necessarily have a horse for the race, but they thought it was a great effort. And maybe from next year, the years after, we can really build this Saturday up along with Warwick and just make it a big, a bigger and better affair, really. And I'm really pleased we've got a full field tomorrow.
Yeah, and I guess that's the point, isn't it? We're talking about the Irish raiders coming over and battering all the UK horses. So the better sort of January and early February are in terms of quality and competitiveness for the races, the better in theory the horses will be prepared for the spring.
That's right, and that was actually. I mean, there's been so much analysis of why Ireland rubs the Brits at Cheltenham, and loads of different theories put up, and there's probably a bit of everything really. I mean, they've got better horses, they've got great powerhouse trainers at the moment with terrific owners digging deep in their pockets, and lots of the horses that won were available at public auction, were sent to the Mullinses and the Elliots. But the other school of thought was that their horses just running more competitive handicaps in the build-up, finish 5th, 6th, don't really go up in the weights that much, and then come out and win some of the handicaps at Cheltenham as well. So, but look, I think the other thing is, it's not all about Cheltenham. I know we talk about Cheltenham a lot, and Tom's focusing on Cheltenham. We'll have our Monday night preview shows starting soon enough as well, the In the Know Monday nights. But, these big Saturdays, next weekend we've got Clarence House, maybe, Shishkin versus Energamine. We've got Cheltenham Trials Day, we've got the new Big Newbury Saturday, and then we're also sponsoring as Coral the old Racing Post Chase, which for many years was such a fantastic handicap. Desert Orchid won under top weight. The likes of Docklands Express, Nakarat, Tom will remember winning, I think, a couple of times. But it just lost its way, that race, in many ways, since the Racing Post stopped sponsoring. But we've boosted that prize money up to 150 grand from 100 grand, making it the equal of the likes of the Welsh National, the Betfred 5 Gold Cup, etc. More valuable than any Cheltenham handicap. And, so it's that's two big Kempton Saturdays we're sponsoring. Obviously, we'll focus on tomorrow. Probably droned on about February. We can deal with that near the time. But, I'm a big fan of these big handicaps this time of year.
Lovely stuff. Well, the Lanzarote coming up a little bit later on. And Paul, I don't know if you heard, but it was almost a flat race this year because of the restrictions and everything. All the flights have been cancelled.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear.
Deary me. That's one thing I didn't miss.
So let's move on then to Kempton for the 132.
He does this for a living, you know that, don't you?
Oh, not since the pandemic. Now, Kempton 132 up first of 8 races we're going to be having a look at on Saturday afternoon. And it is a competitive little handicap chase here over 2.5 miles. And Champagne Court is 11-4 favourite. Cap or Toy 4-1 with Foxborough. 11-2 Falco Blitz. 6-1 Fanzio. 10-1 Locks Corner. And 2020 is the 11-1 outsider of the bunch. 7 of them. Quite a few of these from Informed Yards. The Jeremy Scott, Robert Walford, Toby Laws, Richard Hobson, all banging in winners currently in the January period, and quite a few of these coming in off the back of good runs as well, Paul. So there are 7 runners here. It's 11 for the field, but maybe the 2 outsiders. But I thought there was a good 5 of them here who had genuine claims.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I think it's a favourite we can take on. It wouldn't surprise me in the slightest if Champagne Court won, because Jeremy Scott's in pretty good form. But he is a horse that lost the plot a little bit over fences, and he's been running over hurdles, running well. Career best form over hurdles, you'd say, but he's back on his chase mark now that he'd been struggling off, and he only needs to hit a fence and remember what it's all about, sort of thing. And I'm just a little bit worried about him. I do quite like the look of Foxborough. Robert Wolf has had him for just over a year now, and he's one of those horses that came from France with a ridiculously high rating based on French form. He came at a mark of 135, I think, and he shaped well a couple of times. But he ran his best race last time at Wincanton, where if he'd jumped the last 3 with any sorts of fluency, he probably would have won. And you've got Angus Chilada on claiming 5. Now, Chilada had his first ride for the yard on Monday or Tuesday, was second on a 14 to 1 shot. That one ran its best race of the year. He couldn't claim then because it was a conditional jockey's race and he was one of the more experienced ones. So now he gets the full use of the £5. I think he's going to go pretty close if he's in the same form as he was last time.
Okay, Foxborough then, an unexposed 7-year-old for the yard. Not how many starts for the Robert Walford team, and £5 off its back for Angus Chilada in the saddle. Currently a 4 to 1 shot here, Foxborough. Tom, come over to you for this one. But like I said, nice little open race, and again potentially some slightly lesser names in the training ranks getting a nice pot to aim at, and a lot of them gearing up in good form. What did you like here?
Yeah, I agree with Keels. I think there's lots in there you can fancy. In fact, I'd give a chance to the bottom two as well. I mean, Locks Corner won a handicap here off a higher mark. Was favourite for a Paddy Power in Ireland not that long ago. He's completely lost the plot, but I see they're nibbling at him. He was 25 to 1 yesterday. He's now down to 10 to 1 and even shorter in some places. So he's quite interesting. 2020 actually beat Foxborough last year, so he hasn't shown much since, but it's Gary Moore, bottom weight round Kempton. I wouldn't rule him out. I didn't fancy Capo Toy. He was the one I didn't fancy. I thought he sort of was a bit lucky last time to win. They sort of stopped in front, and I wondered whether he was too high in the weights now. Falco Blitz, I think, had a bit to prove as well. I actually thought the favourite had a good chance, Champagne Court. I get what Keel says about the jumping, but back in his youth, when he was a novice, he was actually quite a good jumper. He won at Sandown. And I thought he was going to go really quite to a high place over fences. He lost his way. I'm hoping. Well, I'm not sure I'll back him, to be honest, at 11 to 4. But if he got bigger than that, I would be interested. I'm just hoping that after that hurdles run last time, he's got a bit of confidence back. And then if that's the case, I could see him sort of making all round there. Good track for front runners, and I could see him going well. So he'd be top of my list. But I'd also throw in Fanzio. Thought he ran well at Doncaster last time. Really, really impressive at Perth one day. I think he might actually be a little bit better going right-handed, so I think Kempton might suit him, and I think he needs to step up to 2.5 miles. I think Champagne Cork will win, but Foxborough and Fanzio are definitely chances against him.
Okay, Champagne Court is an 11 to 4 shot here. I mean, we're talking about his jumping might be dodgy, Paul, but Smarty Wild won this last year. So do you need to jump?
Yeah. I mean, I think you do. I mean, Smarty Wild got it right for once, didn't he?
Yeah.
He's actually running on the card.
I was going to say he might do later on the card.
He's. You've got to get through. I mean, but like Tom said, I mean, I was like him. I was following him over a cliff when he won at Sandown first time. He then went and bolted up with Plumpton. He looked pretty good. If he has come back and he's got his confidence back, then you can certainly see why he's fab.
Yeah, and he's £8 below his last winning chase mark after that hurdles exploits as well. Lorcan Williams, 3 rides on him as well, 2 seconds and a first. So it does look like Champagne Court is very much the one to beat here for this 132 at Kempton. Simon, any angles, any extra places, any price boost? What do you got?
Well, we are paying 3 places, even though there's the 7 runners. So that's for starters. Bits of money, as Tom said, for Locks Corner, which is interesting, given John Joe was running right the way through the summer, having won off that mark at 140, which did look like, obviously probably not too well handicapped. He's gone down to 130, so it's not tomorrow. You feel he's a horse who could easily land a decent prize in the next month or so. And Falco Blitz, interesting, he's been quite well backed. He's a bit disappointing on his reappearance, but he looked a progressive horse last season. He's been off for a couple of months, not entirely sure why. And Foxborough is the other one who's just been nicked into 4 from 9 to 2. So I'm a sort of Champagne Court fan. I think he sort of ticks all the boxes, looking well handicapped, yard in form, running well over hurdles. But I think we've mentioned quite a few there, so it shows what a competitive race it is. There is a price boost. It is an interesting one. Champagne Court and Capoy Toy, both running for you, either to win by over 3.5 lengths, so 4 lengths more. It's 100 to 30, was an 11 to 4 chance. So they're both running for you, but they have to win by 4 lengths or more. Okay,
that's Champagne Court or Capoy Toy to win the 132 by over 3.5 lengths, not the 350 by 1.32 lengths. Just make sure you do get that correct over at Kempton for that 132. Okay, so an open start to the card tomorrow at Kempton with that handicap chase. We're going to go over to Warwick for the next 150 contest here. Fingers crossed that Warwick goes ahead, of course. I'll be honest with you, I thought it was Kempton that might be most in trouble, but there is an 8 a.m. inspection at Warwick. It's been very cold in the mornings, but it has tended to brighten up, so fingers crossed things get the go-ahead at Warwick, as it is a nice little card, albeit the Hampton Novices Chase looks like a potential penalty kick for the Paul Nicholls-trained favourite, albeit we'll find out what our pundits think about that in a second. 300 through 5 is the 4-7 favourite here. Mint Condition 4-1, Doyen Breed 11-2, Any News 14-1, and Mossy Fen the 18-1 outsider of the lot. We'll come to you first, Tom. 5 runners in a graded novice chase. It's quite a lot compared to what we've been enjoying the majority of this season. Quite a lot of these novice chasers seem to get their own race to try and win.
Yeah, I mean, this is an interesting race, actually, Ross. I'm quite keen to take on the Fav here, 3 under, or whatever it's called, 3 under through 5. I thought he was sticky last time at Doncaster. I thought he was putting in extra strides, and he's clearly a very strong stayer, plenty in his favour. But under a penalty in sticky ground at a track that's all about jumping, I was quite keen to take him on at 4-7. Is he? I thought Mint Condition had a very good chance. I really did. I thought he jumped really well when he won last time. Stayed on strongly. Clearly, extra couple of furlongs will suit him. He's got form round Warwick. He was just touched off in the Leamington, is it, last year? Yeah. In the hurdle race on the card. I just thought getting the weight, I think he's probably a better jumper than 3 under through 7. I thought at around 4-1, he was a fair old bet against that Fav.
Okay, yeah, Mint Condition then 4-1. Yeah, he probably should have won that Leamington as well last year. It was a little bit of a messy race as they turned into the home straight, wasn't it? And Adramel just got first run. But we were talking about Mint Condition off air, Paul, because this is a horse who has the kind of speed to lie up on a short track here, but also just keeps galloping and galloping.
Yeah, I mean, that's what he did at Haydock, wasn't it? Like, you know, I mean, from 3 out, I mean, you can hear a commentator saying he's still 2 lengths behind, and then suddenly picked up and went and won away. Yes, I absolutely agree. Absolutely everything Tom said. I almost make this a match unless Mossy Fen can turn up after a fair layoff. But 300 through 5, he's won 3 in a row. He's crept up to a handicap mark of 151. There's no way in a million years would I back that horse to win a handicap of 151. I just do not believe he's anywhere near that good.
He doesn't have to. He could just keep mopping these races up.
Yeah, and I'm not convinced that he's £13 better than Mint Condition, which is what the official ratings say he is. Yeah, so I like Mint Condition as well. I'd just like to ask Tom. Tom called him 300 through 7. Was that what you remembering the last time you played golf?
According to your recent rounds, Keels, which I was hearing about before, it's you. An amazing round this week, 39 points, I understand.
Absolutely.
Spectacular stuff. I'm not old enough to take up golf yet, gents, so I don't know about any of that. But Mint Condition, yeah, got every chance for the Candlish stable. He does have to prove his stamina to a certain extent. I know he keeps going, but he hasn't actually won.
Yeah, I mean, he got well beat behind Alaphilippe in a 3-mile novice in a bog at Haydock last year, but I mean, everything about him, you know, he just wasn't right that day, basically. I mean, he just stays, doesn't he? Definitely,
he's one of those strange horses, he's not done it, but you can't understand why he hasn't done it.
Yeah.
Let's have a quick chat about Mossy Fen, though, because I thought this horse was a little bit interesting. He won the Leamington back in 2020. He beat Chamblou on that day, and then the wheels came off. But he has been seen 3 times since. And he's running novice chases and decent races behind Envoy Allen, Galvin, Protectorat, and he's switched to Christian Williams, who are obviously making a bit of a name for themselves with the stay-in chasers. And you just get the feeling that he might have lost his way, but he does have a little bit of ability.
Yeah, a little bit of class about him, definitely. Yeah. He's definitely a horse that if he comes back, he's still only 7, remember. If he comes back, he could, you know, in handicaps, he could certainly make a name for himself of a current mark of 137. I mean, probably a big ask straight away after a year off, but then that's factored into the price, isn't it?
Yeah.
The thing I didn't like about him, he jumped violently right the twice he ran at Cheltenham. Now Christian Williams might have totally ironed him out, but if he has a propensity to go right, he'll end up in the high street at Warwick, you know. And
the strange thing is about that, Tom, though, is he does do that, but he's won at Worcester, Aintree and Warwick.
Yeah, but that was hurdles. I think it's a different game when you jump over fences. I think he's sitting on his offside to be sort of technical about it, and therefore he jumps just out to the right, badly over fences. I would have to watch him before backing him. I really would. I know he won this race, won the hurdles race here, but I'd have to watch. I can't back him tomorrow with that in mind. But then, as Kealy says, you're getting the price because he's got class, sure.
I guess that's the thing, isn't it? Yeah, if he had run well, if he had come back off an absence, run a big race, he'd be sort of 5-1 rather than 18-1, wouldn't he? So, okay. So looks like we're all kind of taking on 300-3.5 to a certain extent. And you two fine gentlemen with mint condition?
Yep.
Yeah,
right?
for me. Yeah.
Okay, and I'll take a small chance with Mossy Fen, the outsider of the bunch. Simon, are you with the odds-on shot, or are you departing as well?
Yeah, got to take him on, I think. I mean, his runs have all been at big galloping tracks, Exeter, Cheltenham, Chepstow, even Donny is, sort of stiff, flat galloping track. And so I think Warwick here, that back stretch is worth taking on an odds-on favourite anyway over this course. And I think mint condition, he's always I sort of followed a bit last season, really tough, really consistent. He's run 2 good races at Haydock on soft ground. I'm sure he'll stay this trip here. And he'd be the one. There has been money for him. He's 7-2 now. He was 9-2. He's gone 4s into 7-2. And there has also been money elsewhere. Not with us yet. We're still 18. But for Mossy Fen, he seems to have gone down to 11-1, 12-1 in places, which I suppose is a value play, given he has got some decent hurdles form. And if Christian Williams has worked the Oracle with him, maybe he will jump straighter and run competitively. But it's quite a big ask.
In that case, Simon, could you back him at 18-1 for me before the show ends? Because if I log off on his 11s, I'll be annoyed. But okay, there we go. The Hampton Novices Chase then. Hello to all you at home, by the way. Dante44 says, sorry, Ross, but I like Mossy Fen. That's all right. Welcome to the club. It could go either way. Kieran Catterton, good evening to you. Mint condition is a sensible choice in this, and Tom and Paul have said more eloquently. A couple of others. Any news? 16-1, lovely price from Alan Keane. He says he just wins, but as we've learned from Alan Keane, he says that about every tip he puts up on the chat. So, but you've got to have a catchphrase, haven't you? So there you go. There's the Hampton Novices Chase for you over at Warwick. As we wind on back to Kempton for the 205. Well, what do you know? It's another small field chase here, but another one where quite a few of them have got a little bit of a squeak. The Coral Sylvian Arco Conti Chase here at Grade 2 over the extended 2.5 miles. And we've got an interesting mix of horses here. Mr. Fisher 7-4 off the back of that disappointment in the King George, but this of course is a big step down for him. Eldorado LN is 5-2, Rouge Vif 100-30, and Defi de Sil is 9-2, outsider of the 4. But 4 horses with plenty of ability, Paul. Will they actually show it or not? Is the question.
This is it. More holes in them than a cheese grater, aren't there? I mean, this is as hard as any race to sort out. I mean, it wouldn't surprise you if any of them won from Mr. Fisher, who's failed to Defi de Sil, who's outside. Defi de Sil went off 4-9 for a champion chase once, for Christ's sake. Mr. Fisher's probably these days the most talented, but he's clumsy. I don't think he's 100% straightforward. I was going to say he got worried out of a race last year, but it was by Frodon. Yeah. You know what I mean? So we're talking about high-class form. But I mean, if one of your best short-price bets tomorrow is Mr. Fisher, I don't think you're doing it right. Like, you know what I mean? There's just too much. He might win, but there's just too much that can go wrong with him. And Rouge Vif has been really disappointing in the last 2 starts. I thought I really fancied him because he goes so well fresh at Cheltenham in the Schlur, and he was tailed. Seems to be reasonably upbeat bulletin from Paul Nicholls from what he's saying. He's showing the right Simons, etc., etc. But it's all matters when you get on the track, doesn't it? And Defi de Sil travelled really well at Ascot, but then fell out the back of the TV, didn't he? So process of elimination, Eldorado Allen. He's probably not the best horse in the race, and he's got a penalty to deal with, but he has actually run to form. He's won the Haldon Gold Cup. If he hadn't, he clattered through one offence down the back straight in the Peterborough Chase, and just knocked him way out of his stride, and it took him ages to catch up again. But he was going on at the finish. He strapes like a strong stayer at this sort of trip. And I came down to him, because the Collins is, I think, going better again now as well. So, I came down to him, but, I'm not sure even I'll bother having a bet in this race.
Yeah, fair enough. It could be tactically, it's a little bit interesting as well. I mean, Mr. Fisher does excel in small fields. He's another one who wins really well against 3 or 4 opposition horses, but then struggles in bigger races upped in grade. He has won twice here, of course, Mr. Fisher. But yeah, Eldorado Allen, I mean, he beat Hitman and Grenadine, didn't he? So he's beat 2 genuinely good horses, and 6 of the last 10 renewals of this race have been won by penalised runners. So it's certainly not a penalty to victory, even though it is, Tom. But Mr. Fisher 7-4. I think you half fancied him for the King George, where I mean, it was a brutal contest, wasn't it? I mean, this is chalk and cheese grater, as it taking Paul's angle there for this race. Do you think he's a 7-4 shot?
No, I could never back him at 7-4. I could back him at 40-1 and did in the King George. He clearly wasn't fit that day. He ran all right up to a point. He was right on their tails turning for home. He didn't get home and pulled up very quickly, but he was well in front of Minella Indo at the time. So I don't think he was running too badly. He was in front of Minella Indo at Frodon, so I didn't think he ran too badly. The question is, can you back him at 7-4? I can't. I really can't. I do think he's got a lot of talent. If you watched the Ryanair last year, he was just about the only horse that could go the gallop that Allaho set. And then, as Keels pointed out, he just turned into one of those clumsy, he just looked like he got diving boots on halfway around and put his feet in the water. And then he smashed into another one and was quickly pulled up. But I do think he's clearly got the most talent in this field these days. Obviously, Defi Desoy looks like he's gone. If he can't win this, it's a struggle for him because he should be fit now. He likes the track. He's 2 from 3 there. Trip's perfect. He's a better horse than Eldorado Allen. I'm sure of that. But is he going to do it? I wouldn't pay to know that. But I think he's the best horse, and he's the one I wouldn't. If I'm sitting there and coming to the last or coming, at the start of the thing, and Mr. Fisher jumps all right, I think he'll win easily. I think he's better than these, but 7-4's plenty too short.
Yeah, fair enough. Mr. Fisher then 7-4, and Eldorado Allen is 5-2 shot. Yeah, Defi Desil, of course, I think like quite a lot of punters and owners as well, maybe missing Barry Geraghty. Since Barry retired, Defi Desoy appears to have completely thrown the towel in. But I'm in agreement with Paul. I think Eldorado Allen's got a good chance here. Admittedly, like I said, it could be a tactical affair here, Simon. Tricky race. Do you have anything up your sleeve to tempt us in?
Yeah, I mean, I love races like these. These are the sort of races I remember when I was young, growing up, and the old Dewey heard about racing, where maybe a small field, but you know the horses well. As you say, they've all got question marks to some degree, and we're really pleased with the field. Obviously, we put some extra money into this to raise to 80 grand from 60 grand. There's other draws at the moment. Pulling the horses away. We've got the new race next weekend, which has taken Dashiell Dasher and Master Tommy Tucker. But that's life. But I'm really pleased with the field we got. And I mean, I've been, for some reason, been studying this race quite long. Mr. Fisher has won second time out for the last 3 years, having been beaten on his reappearance. And I thought he ran really well in the King George for a long way. Top class field, back down into Grade 2 company, where if you look through his record, he's won or come second in nearly all his weight for age, chases and hurdles outside of Grade 1 company. So I think he's got a really good chance. I think he's got a really good chance. Eldorado Allen from the Tizard team, they're really confident in a big run. But again, is he quite as good as Mr. Fisher? And Rouge Vif and Defi too. So I'm sort of happy to pass on based on recent form. So I know what you're saying about 7-4. Maybe you're doing it wrong, but it's only 4 runners, and I think he's the best horse in the field. And I think he's primed for a winning effort. So I probably would back him at 7-4, but I might be doing it wrong.
Yeah. I mean, this is coming from Paul, who anything under 5-1 is practically odds on, isn't it? So
Basically, yeah.
So it's fair enough. But Mr. Fisher then 7-4, Eldorado Allen 5-2, Rouge Vif 130, Defi Desil 9-2. Paul, your selection in this race?
Yeah, Eldorado Allen, process of elimination.
Okay, very well. Eldorado Allen. Then I will agree with the man to my left, Tom.
Yeah, I bought Mr. Fisher 4 times over, so I hope he wins. I like the horse, and I think he will actually.
Okay, and Simon, I believe that's a second vote for Mr. Fisher for you as well.
It is. I just should say, Defi Desoy is one of these great jump horses who, here he is, as you say, sort of written off. Triumph Hurdle winner, that fantastic season where he ran against Lost in Translation a couple of times, won at Cheltenham, won the Tingle Creek, went into that Cheltenham Festival odds on, bombed, and it's all gone wrong since then. But it went wrong after his Triumph Hurdle year. So maybe Philip Hobbs can work the oracle and he can come back to form. So, I couldn't back him. I'd be thrilled if he won. And we have got a price boost. Another one of these combos, Mr. Fisher and Elder Allen, you have running for you. If either win by more than 4.5 lengths, it's a 3-1 chance from 9-4. With a 4-run race, must be every chance of a wide margin winner.
Okay, there you go. The odds compilers are trying to keep themselves interested in January. They're coming up with all sorts of things. So there you go, Mr. Fisher and Eldorado Allen then to win this race by over 4.5 lengths. Either of them, of course, not both of them. That would be some contest. Rouge Vif nailed on for this, says Natalie Beglin. Others on here. What have we got here? Kieran says Eldorado Allen's the only one coming into this in form. And Tom Leach says he's on at Defi at 11-2, best horse in the race. Admittedly, that performance, those performances have been quite a while ago now for Defi, but class is permanent form is temporary and all that. For the Silvian Arco Conti Chase tomorrow. Going back to Warwick we go for another graded contest here, the Leamington Novices Hurdle, Grade 2 here, and an open renewal, a very open renewal indeed. Surrey Quest is 2-1 favourite for Nicky Henderson. He's had a fairly quiet start to the year, but could have a very good Saturday. He's got, I think, 4 favourites in the races we are covering. Party Business is 3-1, Staghorn 9-2, Viva La Velia is 5-1, Gentleman at Arms 12s, How Do You Like Me Now 14s, and Scipion is 16-1, outsider of the lot. And I love a good competitive graded novice hurdle, Tom. I think we often sing from a similar hymn sheet in the sense that I like races like 2-year-old race on the flat, these kind of races where you're kind of spotting potential rather than trying to sort out handicap marks and finding what is going to spring up on the day. And this looks like a good renewal.
Yeah, I agree with you, Ross. I like races like this as well. I'm not sure I like actually this one because I thought all of them had a chance. In fact, I thought Surrey Quest was one of the ones I fancied least, despite him being favourite. 11-1 to win a race at Doncaster. He was impressive, but the favourite was pulled up after never going a yard. I'm not quite sure of the level of that form. This is much better. I mean, Party Business was just about upsides in a Grade 1 last time when he came down. I would have them the other way round in the market myself. Not sure what would have happened with Party Business after he fell in the shallow. But I thought there were plenty of others in there. I know the Skeltons are very keen on Viva La Vila. They think he's going to run and improve massively on what he showed at Sandown. I was a little bit disappointed with his finish there. But I thought Staghorn, if the ground was very soft, the flat horse had a very good chance of making all. Gentleman Arms was an 80 rated flat horse. He was impressive, jumped very well at Huntingdon. So I thought those two could come in it. And the 2 outsiders have chances too, definitely. How Do You Like Me Now? It's Evan Williams and even Scipion. Scipion was second to a very good horse in a point-to-point. Tom Lacey won this race last year. He's got Lossy Mouth. It's interesting he's running him here when he could have gone for a maiden hurdle. His Leicester form's worked out very well. Jetoile was second in the obviously in the Sandown race, the Tolworth, and the third, another Crick, won a handicap chase very easily. I could see any of them winning here. I will have a few quid on the outsiders because I just think they're just as good chance as the ones at the top of the market. And so, I mean, I like Staghorn, but I like the 2 outsiders as well. So at the prices, they'd be my 2.
Yeah, I agree. I thought Scipion at 16-1. Of course, the Yard won it last year with Agimel, didn't they? And speed figure-wise, I got Scipion top of the speed figures, despite obviously that one run over hurdles at Leicester last time out. It was the best time on the card, and even that point-to-point run, the second behind Manila Crooner, came on that one and ran second to Journey with Me to an RPR of 132. So I think there's definitely improvement to come from Scipion. Could be very interesting. So if the outsider's got a chance, Paul, this is a wide open contest.
Yeah, I can't disagree with anything anyone said, really. I don't like Surrey Quest at all. I mean, he was also ridden by a £7 claimer that day as well, so he was getting weight taken on him. Yes, he won easily. He went all over the place in the straight, didn't he? So he's either extremely green or a bit of a thinker. So, yeah, I thought Party Business should probably be Fav. I like Tom. I like Staghorn because he was a really good, strong stayer on the flat. He's won twice at Pontefract over 2 mile 2, bottomless ground. Was a heavy ground winner over mile 6 at Goodwood. I can see him going well. But I really like this How Do You Like Me Now at the prices. I just think I think he's a silly price. I think it's one of those, you look at it and think, oh, well, he's been running in handicaps and now he's going in a Grade 2. That's exactly what Lossy Mouth did, of course, before bolting up in the Winter Novices Hurdle at Sandown. And he's, since coming from Ireland, he's joined Evan Williams. He's won 3 of 4. He had his first run in Britain on bad ground last time at Foss-Lass, and he won a handicap very easily from a horse who I think's pretty well handicapped, and they both pulled nicely clear of the rest. I thought it was a really, really good run. You look at his pedigree, and he's absolutely guaranteed to be even better over a trip. So I just think I can't get the difference in price between a few of these outsiders and the Favs, and he's the one I like the most. How Do You Like Me Now?
Okay. Yeah, I got the feeling at Foss-Lass last time out. It was obviously it's Foss-Lass. It's a local track. It was a small field. There was £8,000 on the table, and I got the feeling they thought, well,
you should go there and win it.
Yeah.
And he did. He won it as much as he liked. But I mean, the runner-up, whose name escapes me at the moment. Let me have a look. Wicked West. Yeah, I think he's a fair horse. So I think that's a far better handicap than it possibly looked at the time.
Yeah.
And he's won it. He's won it. With plenty in hand. And I mean, even on official rating, he's only got £8 to find with a Fav. I think he's probably got an awful lot less. I think he'll run well at a price. Shame there aren't 8 runners because I'd be having a proper each way bet on him. Not going first three, are you, Si?
Simon, first three, please.
I don't think we are.
Oh, what? You are.
I don't think we
You
are.
are.
No, we are.
Come on, Paige says you are.
You are.
Come on, Simon. That was your moment. That was it was gifted to you on a plate.
That's why you're here, Si.
Yeah, we're 3 places, Paul.
Well, hang on a minute. Don't you dare.
Let's do that again, shall we?
Don't you dare cut the prize.
Let's do that again, Paul. Right? It's you say. What did you say again? You said it's a shame there's not 8 runners, and then we'll set it up to Simon. Go.
Yeah, shame it's not 8 runners, Simon. You're not doing 3 places, are you?
Simon.
Yes, we are, Paul.
Lovely.
There we go. What a result. All right. In that case, we are going to ruin the each way book for you here, Simon, by laying into the outsiders. So Scipion then 16-1. How'd you like me now? 14-1. Both got a bit of a chance here, Simon.
So it's fantastic again, isn't it? Once you start pulling these races apart, suddenly, Case to be maybe Gentleman at Arms at 12. How would you like me now at 14, 16, like you said? How'd you like me now is interesting because Evan Williams is a shrewd trainer. He's having a great run of Saturday results. He's in form. The fact he's running here, I think, is a tip in itself, but he expects very well. My memories of Warwick on soft ground over hurdles is sort of different test entirely from the professors. It's a real slog up that straight on soft ground. You really got to stay well. We were a war of attrition. I think it was quite a big field last year, and Adramel won. And that's why I like Staghorn. I know he's only had the 1 run, but he's a 103 rated flat horse. I know that doesn't always translate. I've been seduced many times by those horses coming off the flat. But the fact that he stays, it's 4th to Stradivarius and the Sagaro, 4th in the Ascot Stakes, he's a real proper stayer. Normally that translates up to real staying distances, doesn't it? Sort of 3 miles. So, I thought he should be favourite based on potential, really, because I didn't think Surrey Quest looked particularly excited, but he's got the 2 1s by his name, trained by Nicky Henderson. That sort of explains it. But great race, make a case for them all. Brilliant.
There you go. Yeah, the Leamington could be a cracker. I mean, to be fair, it often is. It gets a bit lost in the Saturday, maybe perhaps. But again, like you said about Warwick, they get racing a long way out, don't they? In this race in particular, I think for the past few years, at some point you think, oh, they've all got a chance, and hopefully that will happen tomorrow. But taking a couple of lively outsiders, Paul.
Yeah, how'd you like me now is the one for me, especially with 3 places.
Okay, yeah, I'll back Scipion each way with 3 places as well. Tom?
I don't know how you've got through it without going, how'd you like me now? But I like that one. I back them both. I back both the outsiders. I just think they're the wrong price.
I mean, I couldn't top that rendition. That's why
I know.
it's all beautiful stuff. Okay, and as Simon has learned, we've got 3 places. So what are you backing, Simon?
Staghorn for me.
Staghorn it is then. Okay, over at Warwick for the Leamington Novices Hurdle. Back to Kempton we go. And here we go, the Coral Lanzarote Handicap Hurdle. A listed handicap hurdle over 2 miles and 5 furlongs with 20 of them lining up as well. And of course won by a 9-year-old called Boren Bill at 33-1 last year. And we've had some big price winners over the past 10 years as well. So this could be an open little contest. But we've got a social poll, the Coral Lanzarote Hurdle. Who's going to win it? Marie's Rock. 33% of you apparently think Marie's Rock's going to win, which again questions the odds, doesn't it? Green Book 19%, Gelino Bello 17%, and any other 29%. For this open contest. So yeah, really tricky little race. In terms of rock solid trends, you need to begin with a B. That's the last few years. Boren Bill, Burrows Edge, a big time dancer, but often goes to a novice or a second season hurdler as well, and plenty of horses in here with form in the book. But it's Green Book at 11-2 who heads the betting. Marie's Rock 6-1, up for parole 7-1 with Gelino Bello. Chittabello is 9-1. Don Levant 11s, On My Command at 12s with Earth Lord, and bigger prices the rest. This is the kind of race we go to Paul Kealy for analysis for. But it's Green Book and Marie's Rock, both improving horses from in-form yards who head the betting. But again, it's another one where there's so many unexposed times.
Yeah, absolutely. And I will clock you with bold plan wins because there's the only B in it. He's got no chance whatsoever.
It's a rock solid trend. Rock solid trend.
Yeah, it's one of those. Look, it's funny because when I look at this race, it has attracted horses with the same sort of rating as it always attracts, but a lot more of your unexposed, sexy sort of improving types. And it looks like there'll be a few way ahead of his mark. Now, I really like the look, having said that, of Chittabello earlier in the week when he was a big price. But he's obviously been laid out for it because he halved in price from Monday's 20s and he's under that now. He's under 10s now. I still think he's got a good chance because he's dropped way down, former county hurdle winner, been placed in very good races. But he's 11, and he's running up against horses that are going to be a lot better than them, Mark. So I've just gone off him at the prices now. I've backed 2 since then. One of them is Cobbler's Dream, who I thought was really impressive when he won at Doncaster. He was a really good handicap yardstick, and Leon Cavallo beat him quite comfortably at Doncaster.
He is the handicap hurdle yardstick.
Yeah, he is, isn't he?
Yeah,
he just gets placed in decent races all year, basically. So, and he did that race at Donny. I think it's the same race a big-time dancer won 3 years ago, who came here and won this race. He showed a good change of gear. And he's got a low mark. He's got a mark of 128. He looked potentially a fair bit better than that when he won his bumper at Cork over 2 mile 3. He started out over 2 miles over hurdles, found out that clearly at Kempton on his second start that it was way too sharp for him. He's gone up and tripped, going up again. I think he'll like it. And the other one is Gelino Bello. I think Paul Nicholls has won this twice in the last 8 years, and Gelino Bello's that novice who's seen the backside of Blazing Carl twice this year, but Blazing Carl's favourite for the Albert Bartlett. Yeah. He certainly wasn't disgraced first time over 2 mile 5, probably didn't quite get home over 3 mile. Now going into open company, he's a horse that jumps really well. I think he wants Berry in a big field because he travels. And he's probably been seeing a bit too much daylight, so it wouldn't surprise me if he's one of those horses that ends up a 150 plus horse of Paul Nicholls, and he's running off 138. I think he's got quite a good chance as well.
Okay, Gelino Bello then, of course, the yard won this with Safia Dereur a few years ago, who did go on to bigger and better things. And yeah, he beat That's All Right Gino, didn't he, in soft ground in a bumper again. And he was behind Good Risk at All at Newbury in that good bumper as well. So you get the feel. I mean, like you said, Blazing Carl could, in hindsight, you could think, well, he had no chance.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you put Blazing Carl in here with 138 and he'd be 1 to 2, wouldn't he? So, you know what I mean? So, obviously he's not as good as Blazing Carl, but I mean, I think 7 to 1. I think that's a reasonable price, even given the size of the field. Okay,
Gelino Bello then at 7 to 1. Over to you, Tom, for your thoughts on this. Again, plenty of informed horses here. Marie's Rocks improved for stepping up in trip. Green Book, of course, for Venetia Williams. You can pretty much do no wrong back in those horses. And I quite fancied up for Parole to run a big race as well. I quite like that Haydock run for Jamie Snowden. And thought it was interesting that horse they must like it because they made sure they bought the horse they battered out of sight in a point-to-point, and then that won for them a few weeks ago. So get the feeling up for Parole has a bit more to offer. What did you like in this race?
Claiming jockeys.
Okay.
I think they've won 7 of the last 9. Now I'm not a trends man at all, but when I saw Ned Fox claiming 10 on Green Book, my alarm bells went off, and I know he's favourite now, but I think the £10. That means we're getting weight from everything now, and I think you saw him on the flat. He won the Consolation Chester Cup, didn't he? He was placed, or he was 5th at Royal Ascot, 4th at Glorious Goodwood. I know he's rated 120, and his jumping wasn't great the first time he won, but I thought it was fine last time. I just read an article as well where Ned Fox said Venetia called him in and said, you're going to get the ride and you'll lose your claim as a result of it. Yes, she thought it was going to win because you're allowed 5 winners. This will be his 5th winner. And he'll lose his £10 claim if it wins. And she was keeping him back for a big race. I just think Green Book is going to run really well. She's in tremendous form. She won it with Jalarenki under Charlie Deutsch when he was a claimer a few years ago. Right down the bottom of the weights. I just think he's going to run well. It is a competitive race, and the one worry I've especially got is there's plenty of pace. You've got the bottom one on My Command and a few others that like to make the running, and he could get Green Book going too fast too soon, which would be my worry, and therefore get his jumping at it. But I think in terms of handicapping, he's the best handicapped horse in the race for me, with the possible exception of Paul's horse Gelino Bello, who I think is going to also have the race set up for him, because I think he's a decent stayer at the chip. He jumps well, and if they go too fast, it could fall into his lap. So they'd be my 2. It's not very inspiring because they're at the top of the market, but it would be Green Book and Gelino Bello.
Okay, yeah, Green Book 11 to 2. You might be able to correct my maths here, but I'm pretty sure he's gone up £8, but because of the switch in jockey, he's only £1 higher than that Ludlow event. I've just started to question that, but get your calculators out, lads, and just work that one out. But yeah, Green Book 11 to 2 for this 240 at Kempton. Then got a few social comments, a few selections and tips from you viewers at home. Devo has put his little red hat on and said, "On my command and Cabo Cliffs." Here for this 240 over at Kempton. Yeah, on my command, the Harry Fry and Jonathan Burke, a mare who won last time out at Plumpton, and they had Misty Whiskey run off a very similar mark last year, finished second. Nick Dye's going for Don Levant, only bet of the day. Yeah, Don Levant, who of course gave you a big winner, Tom, didn't he, over at Haydock earlier on in the season. And Kieran Caddison says, Up for Parole will be the one for me. Nice run at Haydock last time out. The step up in trip looks sure to suit. Yeah, I agree. I think Up for Parole is interesting. The fifth in that race the other day won Cosley at Bangor this week, and he's beating a Barrichello in a novice hurdle. Reads well. That one's rated 130, and Up for Parole up to 133. Albeit he hasn't won on right-handed tracks. Big shout out to Brian Galt, a viewer at home, who loves a trend and a stat. Last 14 had all won on right-handed tracks. And Bour and Bill, the oldest winner since Fred Kateri in 1988. So that doesn't bode too well for Chittibello.
Remember Fred Kateri?
Yeah?
Yeah, I used to like that horse. Can't remember who trained him, but yeah.
Well, join us next week for a trip down memory lane with Paul Kealy there. That's lovely
Josh
stuff.
Gifford, I reckon.
Sorry?
Josh Gifford, I reckon. But I'm
could be,
guessing
couldn't
used
it?
to-
Couldn't it?
Used to train all those
Yeah.
Coutinho and all that lot.
Ah,
Yeah, there you go. So someone will absolutely rinse us on the chat or set us straight either way. But yeah, the Coral Lanzarote, big price,
George Moore.
George Moore.
Okay.
There you go.
There we go. Told you it was Fred. Told you it was Josh Gifford.
At a distance, you can't tell them apart. But yeah, the Coral Lanzarote here, Simon. What we got? 7 places, 8 places, 9 places?
We have five places, I believe. You'll probably correct me now. I think it's 5 places. But no, it's a great race. It's only there were 20 runners declared last year, but we had a non-runner on the day, so it was 19 in total. But that was only the last time we had a full field was 2012. It's only happened 5 times in 21 years. So the injection prize money, I think, hopefully it has helped generate that. And as the guys said, it's a really interesting race. Lots of unexpected horses. That Green Book, actually, I just realised, correct myself. Staghorn was 4th in the Queen Alexandra behind Stratham at summer. Green Book was 5th, so there's a collateral form line there. And Green Book's been really well backed. 11-2 favourite now, was 7-1 earlier today. He's probably the best backed horse today. Others for money are Up for Parole's been quite well backed, and there's been bits of money for Bold Plan. Actually, has been nilled at, as has William Henry. But a really competitive race. I thought On My Command was interesting. Moving Yards, Wind Surgery, Up in Trip. Harry Fry's got a couple of wins. Might have to make all, which wouldn't be the easiest thing in the world. And it's by War Command out of a Monjeur Dam. So I'm not sure it was ever bred to win a 2-mile 5 furlong handicap hurdle at Kempton. But yeah, On My Command, I think she might be the one I might plump for. But it's a cracking race.
Yeah, War Command out of Monsieur Dam. They're surprised it's trained on past its 2-year-old career, and definitely has probably a few ideas about the game, that's for sure. Paul Kealy, you've got plenty of ideas about the game. What's your tip for the Lanzarote?
Yeah, Gelino, Bello and Cobbler's Dream.
Gelino, Bello and Cobbler's Dream. Tom?
Green Book, for me, boringly, the favourite.
Okay, there you go. Green Book then, 11-2 shot. I'll go for Up for Parole at 7-1. And Simon?
Quick mention of the price boost. Nicky Henderson to win the Lanzarote. He's got a good record in the race, won 3 of the last 9 years. He's got 3 runners. And Marie's Rock, obviously, is the most prominent one, as well as Monte Cristo and Call Me Lord. And that's 5-1 from 4-1 for a Nicky Henderson victory. And I'll go for On My Command. I also can't read this back in Chittibello. I like the old stages. I think he'll love the race. He'll be held up and cruising through. And of course, he's under Tristan Durrell claiming 7. So yeah, I think he'll run well at a big price, a decent price.
Okay, Nicky Henderson, trained horse to win the Coral Lanzarote. Of course, he won it past few years with Borough's Edge and William Henry a few seasons ago. 5-1 out from 4s. Quick shout out to you watching at home as well. A few more here. Monte Cristo, Tom Leach, 33s each way, says, and Foster's Island should outraise odds, says Gus Skinner. Big race at Kempton, then cracking handicap hurdle to look forward to at 2:40 tomorrow. Cracking handicap chase to look forward to 20 minutes later over at Warwick. It is the classic handicap chase here for these staying chasers, and you do have to stay, but you also, as Tom said earlier, have to be able to jump and lie upon the speed. It is not a track you want to be dawdling out the back, and it's not a track you want to be making mistakes, is Warwick. But Jericho Rock is the 4-1 favourite. Here, Corach Rambler, 11-2. Paddle Your Own Canoe is 7-1. No rematch, 9-1. Not a Chance is 10-1 with Kealy. 12-1 at Claire Surf and Grace Afu Enki, and bigger prices for the rest. Big shout out to a few others in there as well. Have Chances Menela Encore at the Hollow, Ginge, Captain Tommy, and of course a couple of JP horses, Chirico Vallis and Jerry's Back as well, the enigma that is Jerry's Back. But it's Jericho Rock who heads the betting here at 4-1. Couple of races today. You've said that the favourite might still represent value, Tom, and it's hard to fault Jericho Rock's chances. That Chepstow form's rock solid. The horse who beat him last time out looks a good one. A worthy favourite for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the Mandarin was, I looked a really good race. The two young, unexposed horses came 11 lengths clear of a very good Newbury horse. What's not to like about him, apart from his inexperience in jumping around Warwick in a big field like this at 4-1? That's the only thing I got against him. Everything else going for him, but both him. I feel the top weight Coral Rambler, in terms of handicapping, had plenty to do. Don't think the handicap have been very keen on him, but he's a Lucinda Russell horse, staying handicap chase, and we all know what she can do with these staying chases. She's one of the best around at that. So I didn't fancy him, but I wouldn't be surprised if he went. I thought I was being very clever yesterday and spent hours looking at this race, and I thought Evan Williams had a chance with no rematch, and he was 25-1, and now I see he's 7-8-1. I think you'll find that when Si looks at it, refreshes his screen, I don't think that 9-1 will be there.
No, it's 7.
It's 7-1, and it's frustrating because I've tipped him and whatever, but I'm not sure he's a 7-1 shot after it pulled up last time. But I do think he's a very interesting horse. We all know what Evan Williams has been doing. Prime Venture and Sam, Welsh National last year. The one at, I don't want to mention it, Keels, after your Almazar guard, but the one at Catterick in the week. The one at Catterick in the week. He is a genius with these staying chasers, and I thought he ran a cracking race at Exeter, despite having a P there. I thought he jumped really well for his second run over fences. He showed loads of pace. He had them all beat, and then he just completely ran out of puff. And we all know with Evan Williams horses, he uses a trial to get them ready for a big race. And my guess is that this has always been no rematches planned. So while I thought I was being really clever at 20-1, finding a horse that had pulled up last time, I'm not sure that 7-1's a great value bet now, but I still think he's going to run really well. There's plenty in there you can give a chance to. Last year's winner, Not a Chance, has clearly got a chance. Doesn't not have a chance. It definitely has a chance at 10-1. And the other one that I thought was quite interesting, never run over fences at all, which I would thought in this country, which I thought was interesting for a horse running in the Warwick staying chase, Grace Avu Onki, who, as you will probably work out, is a half brother to Yala Enki, who we talked about winning the Lanzarote. He's also we know him as a 160 rated staying chaser. It's just so unlike Paul Nicholls to run him in a race like this, first time up in the country, that it makes me think he's been doing everything right. I mean, he had loads of experience over, for instance, in France. It's clearly a strong stay. He's never had his ground to suit, but he ran first time up, I can't remember if it's Stratford or Worcester, and he gave a good horse, Colorado Doc, a real fright over hurdles. He's going to be a much better chaser. I just thought he might run well too. So my two were No Rematching and Grace Avu Onki, but you can make a case for Jericho Rock. I think he's probably the one that's most likely winner, if truth be told. And there's loads at big prices. I'm sure Keels is going to come up with one of these nutty ones at a big price now to tell me that I'm talking a load of rubbish. But those would be my two.
Okay, very well. Yeah, no rematch, definitely. Yeah, like you said, he travelled really well at Exeter last time out and clearly blew up. And Gracie Vuonki, just had a look. Yala Enki, first run over fences in this country, won the Tommy Whittle by about 6 lengths and barely touched a twig. So he could well emulate his brother, Grace Avu Enki. But we're running out of time here. I mean, it's a little bit maybe needed the run after the new year, but
yeah.
I'm knocking things over.
A bit like these horses, we're just plodding along,
We're just plodding along, 3 mile 5. The people in the gallery say it should be a 2 mile race. But you actually have backed Jericho Rock, haven't you?
Yeah, back to earlier in the week, I thought 7-1 was a fair price. I think he's priced about right now, and it's not an exciting price. I started looking at the race again, and my first thought was this ground is soft, good at soft in places. It's been dry all week. It might not be the slog that it always is, and a horse with a bit of pace. And I just got to look. I backed the Hollow Ginger at Cheltenham first time out this season. He got beat a neck by a massively gambled on Gordon Elliott horse, and they pulled 10 lengths clear. And then he ran in the Ladbrokes Trophy, and he's been beaten 45 lengths in the end, finished 9th of 21. But when they were jumping the cross fence, he was in 4th. This was cross fence for the second time, 5 out. He was in 4th place. He was still going okay. 2/3 of the field were already beaten. And when I look at this, this is a proper plodder's race. And I thought to myself, how many of these would still have been going that well in a race like the Ladbrokes Trophy? at 5 out? And my answer was, pretty much none. So I thought, what happened to him? And then you look, you get the big clue. 5 days after that run, he had a wind up.
Yeah.
So it's no great surprise if Sam Twiston-Davies had got off him and said, his wind went in the straight because he started to struggle. He hung around for a little while, but he finished very tired. So, and he's had a break. He's a horse that goes well fresh. That was 7 weeks ago. Hasn't run since. He got well beat in this race last year, but it was a week after running in the Welsh National. So I just thought a double-figure price. I think he's got a good chance. He's an in-and-out horse, but he's a very talented one. Just hasn't won the races he probably should have done. But I'm giving him another go at a big price.
Okay, very well. The Hollow Ginge. What price for the Hollow Ginge, Simon Clare?
He is 16-1, and we're going 4 places despite there being only 15 runners, so an extra place there. I could see him. He will win a big race one of these days, and maybe it will be tomorrow, the Hollow Ginge. And it's a good spot on the wind up. And the ones for money, no rematch, no surprise. With Tom putting him up. Grace Avu's Enke has also been nibbled in from 12s into 11s. Tom Scudamore, obviously in his blog, really confident of a big run from Jericho Roque. He thought he was going to win last time, but bumped into one. Was actually outpaced towards the line by that winner. So I think this extra trip will help him. So yeah, a really good competitive race. I'll probably go with Jericho Roque, but the money for the Paul Nicholls horse and no rematch.
Okay, interesting. Classic handicap chase over at Warwick then. Paul Kealy, your tip?
The Hollow Ginge, bit of value each way.
Okay, the Hollow Ginge. Tom?
The bad value horse, no rematch, is the one I'm on.
Okay, yeah, and if you hadn't ruined the price, Tom, I would agree with you. I do think no rematch has a big chance on that soft ground form last year. And Simon, your tip?
Yeah, Tom Scudamore on Jericho Roque. I'll side with the Coral Lanzarote.
Okay, lovely stuff. 2 more races then to rattle through to bring our previews to a close. We're going over to Kempton for the 3:15. The Coral committed a safer gambling handicap chase here over 3 miles. And Caribbean Boy, here he is again, 7-2 at top of the betting. Smarty Wild 4-1, Kitty's Light 5-1, Wishing and Hoping 6-1, Atois Phil 7-1, Strictly a Dancer 15-2, Double Shuffle 11s, and Mac Totty at 12-1. We have quite the interesting lineup here for this 3-mile handicap chase. Plenty of ability. Some of them can't jump, some of them can't finish. But somebody's got to win it, and it's an interesting renewal. Age is no barrier to this race over the past 10 years, though, so don't rule out some horses springing back. 10, 11 and 12-year-olds have won in the past decade. Atois Phil, maybe he will bounce back here for this 3:15 at Kempton. But Paul Kealy, we're going to have to do these last 2 races quickly, so what's the tip for the 3:15?
Yeah, I think the final 2 races have the 2 best handicap horses running on ITV, to be honest. I think Caribbean Boy running off a mark of 145. He was 154 last year, shaped like he wanted 3 mile when he finished 7th in the plate at Cheltenham. Things haven't gone right for him since. But, he was only beaten 7 lengths by Dashel Drasher off levels at Ascot last year. He was rated 162 at the end of the season. He's down to 145. I fancied him last time at Ascot. He fell at the first, but I'm not sure that was entirely his fault. There was a big field and they were all crowded together, jumping at the same time. And he seemed to jump it okay, but it just then disappeared. And the jockey in front looked behind him straight away. So I wonder whether he clipped heels. Maybe that's what brought him down. I think he's a sound enough jumper. I think he's the best horse in the race. James Bowen is obviously riding really well because, unfortunately for me, he gave Supreme Escape a brilliant ride at Catterick yesterday. So, yeah, I think 7-2 is very, very fair price.
And the last time James Bowen was on board Caribbean Boy, he bolted up in soft ground at Haydock. So it could be an interesting booking for Caribbean Boy at 7-2. Tom, your selection, please.
I disagree with Keels. I think he's a dodgy jumper, Caribbean Boy and Smarty Wild. I think they're both dodgy jumpers. I've been on Caribbean Boy about 15 times and he's smashed into every fence going when I'm on him. But look, up to 3 miles in a much lesser race, he could easily win this. I mean, when he won at Newbury last year, I thought he was the second coming. I thought he was going to be a top-class horse. This is by far the easiest chance he's ever had since. And so if he's on his game and he jumps properly, I think he'll win. At a bigger price, I thought Atois Phil might run well. I thought he ran okay in the race the other day at Vienna Court Race. He ran fine here, over 2.5 miles behind Smarty Wild last year. Stepping up 3 miles, I just thought he'd run all right, but I agree with you. I think it's all Caribbean Boy. If he jumps, I think he'll win easily.
Okay, yeah, Caribbean Boy then 7-2. Could be just a win bet, though, for Caribbean Boy, as he does tend to be a bit all or nothing, that's for sure. Simon, what have you got for this 3:15 at Kempton? I believe another price boost in the wings.
We do. We've got two Christian Williams horses here. Kitty's Light is strictly a dancer, so we're doing Christian Williams to win the 3:15. It's 100 to 30 from 5-2. There's been money for Atois Phil. He's been the one shortener, and I'm with the guys. I think Caribbean Boy. He's never run at Kempton. He looks the sort of horse who will suit Kempton. And if he gets into a jumping rhythm off that mark, I think he could be quite hard to take back.
Okay, very well. There we go. So 3:15 at Kempton, then Christian Williams, trained horse to win the 3:15, 130 out from 5-2. The selection, Paul?
Yeah, Caribbean Boy, definitely.
Okay, Tom?
Yeah, I'm not sure I'd back him, but I do think Caribbean Boy's got his class act.
Yeah, okay, so do I as well. So that's 3 for Caribbean Boy. Simon?
It's a yes from me. So we've got the full ticks on the X Factor panel.
There we go. Well, like I said, it's only happened once before, and that one won quite nicely for Milton Harris, didn't it? So looks good for Caribbean Boy in the 3:15 at Kempton. Now, I thought we were going to do the 3:35 at Warwick. The producer just said it isn't on the running order, but my best bet of the day was in that, and one of your best bets of the day was in that as well. So
we're going to fight over it, though, won't we?
We won't properly go through it, but the 3:35 is a Pertemps Network qualifier. There we go. Riggs 11-4, Alaphilippe 3, Sporting John 9 to do a third wind. You fancied, Paul?
Well, there's only one horse in this race who could be a stone better than his handicap mark, and that's Alaphilippe, who stepped up the 3 mile last year, won a Haydock 3 mile, grade 2 by 14 lengths, then finished 5th in the Albert Bartlett. He's had an injury, he's back late, but they've stuck him in the Stayers Hurdle as well. He's running off a mark of 140 for last year's winning stable. He'll win.
There you go.
And he's being backed. He's 11-4 from 3 in the last few seconds.
If that's not a Twitter clip, I don't know what is, but there you go. Alaphilippe, then I thought third wind had a cracking chance here. This horse absolutely loves 3 miles in soft ground, and they keep running him against the best staying hurdlers around. So, last time we saw him under these conditions, he also won a graded race in soft ground over at Haydock. So it could be the Haydock soft ground sloggers taking each other on for this 3:35 at Warwick. We weren't supposed to be covering it, Tom, but do you have anything to throw in, or should we move on?
Move on. Cider Burley. Cider Burley's got a chance.
That was a quick change. Move on and then Cider Burley. Okay, yeah. Cider Burley.
I had a quick look at this and I just thought there's no reason for him. I don't think he ran in the Pertemps, so there's no reason for him not to be, to worry about his handicap mark. He's too high rated for the Pertemps. He's going to run in the Stayers Hurdle. He was second last year. If he's on a going date, he's better than them.
Okay, there
Much
you go.
better.
So we're not covering this race, but we've all got very strong opinions on it for this Pertemps that we're at handicap hurdle. Simon, I don't think we've got anything up our sleeves for this, but I do believe you have one more. Do you have a double for us or another price boost to look at?
No, I don't think I do. I think I have a Chris Hughes. Oh, Chris Hughes, our Coral Ambassador, has actually come up with a special double, Eldorado Allen and Kitty's Life, I think is 22-1 from, I'm leaving the screen here. Anyway, yeah, this is the Chris Hughes double. If you fancy following Chris Hughes in, or off a clip.
Okay, very well. But you're almost insinuating we shouldn't follow Chris Hughes.
Well, no.
The way you looked over your shoulder, Simon, is he over there? Is he standing right by you?
No, he's not.
Look, if I'm the Coral Ambassador, you better mention my enhanced double, is what he said, or I'm out of here.
Exactly. He's the other side of the door now.
I'm cancelling. Who knew that Simon Clare and Chris Hughes actually lived together? There's a reality TV show. The 3:35 at Warwick, then the Pertemps that were handicap hurdle, brings us to a close on what looks like a pretty lively Saturday afternoon, that's for sure. And hopefully we can land some decent bets as well. So let's see what the naps of the panel are. First, I will go to Paul Kealy to my left. Best bet on Saturday?
Yeah, Alaphilippe, 3:35 Warwick. Azilo Coates are pressing up, we're clawing it back, but he will win either way.
Okay, yeah. Well, there's a classic chase earlier on. You could be on a classic chase by that point. Tom Segal, what's your nap of Saturday?
My nap is at Weatherby Morozov Cocktail, but as we're not doing that race, I think my best bet is Green Book. I think he's got a very good chance of winning the Lanzarote.
Okay, very well. Green Book it is. Simon Clare, nap of the day, please.
I think Mr. Fisher will win the Coral Silvignati Conti Chase.
Okay, very well. And I will take a leaf out of the book of Paul and Tom and ignore the shorties and go for Scipion each way in that Leamington Novices Hurdle. I think he could win a big race at big prices. Let's see if there's any naps to mention. I don't think anyone's put theirs on the chat, but good luck to everyone who is playing tomorrow. Again, please do gamble responsibly on Saturday's cards at Kempton and Warwick, and join us in a couple of weeks where we'll be returning of course, for some red hot action. February, Simon, is absolutely jam packed. We're going to be here every other day by the looks of things.
Yes, we are. That's right. We're going to have the Monday night previews from February onwards, building up to Cheltenham Festival. There are a few Friday night in the nose, looking ahead to the Saturday action. So yeah, we're going to be well worked.
Lovely stuff. Well, thank you for tuning in. This has been In the Know, brought to you by the Racing Post and Coral. Thank you to Tom, to Paul, and to Simon. I've been Ross Brierley. You've been wonderful. Have a good weekend.